sentence today you and my dad gave me because I'm still your daughter. I'm still your daughter. I am guilty, and I deserve every year I get. I'm so sorry. Are you kidding?
The defendant stands before this court professing his innocence, and regardless of whether you admit to brutally murdering her, you wouldn't sit at sentencing and laugh about it. Anyone with a shred of human decency would not sit in the courtroom and laugh.
Sentencing day for this Karen, convicted in the death of her 7-year-old adopted daughter.
I wish you well in hell.
Strong words from Iona Gordon, the oldest of 3 sisters, abused at the hands of their adoptive mother, Gina Emanuel.
I meant what I said.
Emanuel, now a convicted killer, sat quietly as she heard the sentence from the judge.
Life in prison for the first-degree murder. The sentence is the only lawful and just sentence in this case.
Emanuel was found guilty of murder and child abuse. She was arrested in 2019 for abusing and torturing her adopted daughters, aged 5, 7, and 12, and causing one of their deaths.
We had her refrigerator chained. These 3 little girls were forced to urinate and defecate in a bucket. These girls were malnourished. She whipped them with a belt. Never seen a pediatrician.
Iona Gordon testified to some of that abuse during the trial. At sentencing, she spoke to her adoptive mother directly.
You called yourself a tough cookie. I am too a tough cookie, tougher than you could think.
Middle sister Somaya, who was 7, came down with pneumonia but was not given medical care. The medical examiner said she died from the sustained abuse.
The cause of death is acute and chronic physical and emotional abuse.
It really hurt, and I wish that I could have been there a lot sooner.
Iona's grandfather had his own thoughts to share.
I forgive you for what you did. However, I can't forget. I wish I can inflict the pain that you did to my grandkids every day. I wish I could beat you within an inch of your life every day.
Emanuel declined to make any statement at all prior to the sentencing.
I took it as an insult, and that makes me more angrier than anything. To whereas, I wish I could, put my hands around her.
72-year-old son. Police say it's because she was afraid he was going to put her in a nursing home.
This is definitely an odd one. There's a lot of circumstances surrounding it, of course, but it's definitely something you don't see every day, and it's very unfortunate that this took place.
Anna Mae Blessing is charged with killing her son, Thomas. Investigators say they were living together with Thomas's girlfriend in Fountain Hills, Arizona. The sheriff's office says Anna Mae claimed to have overheard his plan to move her out of the home because she had become too difficult to deal with. Authorities say she confronted him armed with 2 guns that she owned and shot him, then turned a gun on his girlfriend who fought back.
They struggled over the handgun. She was able to dislodge the handgun out of her hands, and Blessing was able to pull out a secondary handgun, and they struggled over that handgun as well.
The girlfriend then called 911.
Would you please state your full name and date of birth?
Anna Mae Blessing.
Anna Mae Blessing faces first-degree murder, among other charges. But in the end, Anna Mae Blessing spent her last few weeks in the type of place law enforcement said she went to criminal lengths to avoid. She died in hospice care after suffering a stroke in jail. Court documents said Blessing had a stroke in the Maricopa County Jail. She was released from custody and into hospice care shortly after, where she remained until she died. This Karen sat in front of a judge, her hair covering half her face, at one point wiping away tears, while lawyers argued over her punishment for killing her 5-year-old son, Timmy Wiltsey, back in 1991. The case that went cold for nearly 25 years went to trial in 2016, a jury convicting the mother, Michelle Lodzinski, of murder. Joe Mulvannerton sat on that jury and came out to sentencing for closure.
We felt almost an attachment to Timmy, as if we were there fighting for him.
Lodzinski claims her son disappeared while at a carnival in Sayreville back in 1991. The community searched for months. Lodzinski's story then changed a few times to Timmy being abducted. A year after his disappearance, his skeletal remains were found in a marsh at Raritan Center in Edison, near his mother's old job. Lodzinski's attorney read letters from the woman's friends who say she's a great mother to her 2 teenage boys.
She provided a great, safe, and loving home environment for them and was very overprotective.
Prosecutors shared a letter from Timmy's father.
Yearly family picnics, swimming, boating, and so much more. These are the things I had to stand back and watch. And only imagine my Timmy should have been here for this.
But I want to give you a chance to say something if you want to. Because this might be the last time I ever see you. So do you want to say something to me, Michelle? Sure.
The prosecution wanted a life sentence, but the judge sentenced Lodzinski to 30 years in prison.
Sandra Lane deserves the maximum penalty allowed. Please do not show mercy on her.
This Karen will spend at least 20 years in prison for killing her grandson, Jonathan Hoffman. It was an emotional day in the court, and Sandra Lane looking shocked by the very real possibility that she will die in prison. Her own daughter refusing to even call her mother, addressing her instead by her full name in court.
I know what I've done. I can't take it back.
The 75-year-old West Bloomfield woman, Sandra Lane, claimed it was self-defense when she shot her teenage grandson 6 times. She had hoped for a sentence of 3 years in prison for second-degree murder, but Jonathan's mother, Sandra Lane's own daughter, made it clear she wanted the judge to lock her up for the max.
Sandra Lane is pure evil, and if given the opportunity, would surely kill again. She has no remorse or conscience. Her only concerns are for herself.
I don't know what else to say. I just don't know. I don't want to die in jail or prison. Like, I don't know what in my life. I'm so sorry. I apologize to everybody. Oh, God.
When it was time to hand down the sentence, Judge Denise Langford Morris stated what clearly troubled the jury. Why didn't Sandra Lane call police? And why did she shoot 17-year-old Jonathan so many times?
I wonder if you really felt so violated and so afraid and a need to shoot. Why did you keep shooting on the charge of homicide, second-degree murder, that you served 20 to 40 years in the state prison of Michigan?
Jonathan's mother was clearly happy with the decision.
She deserved a life sentence, and she's locked away forever and can't hurt anybody else.
This Karen did the unimaginable to her son, Eli. She shot the child 9 times with a shotgun amid a contentious custody dispute with Eli's dad, Torrey Hart. Police making the horrific discovery after stopping Thaler in a heavily damaged vehicle with the back windshield blown out. Eli's body was there in the trunk, the murder weapon right alongside. Police pieced the case together, following the evidence across multiple crime scenes in Lake Minnetonka, all the way to a first-degree murder conviction. Case files included these surveillance photos of Thaler and Eli leaving her apartment building together for the final time, body camera images of Thaler during the traffic stop, as well as her web searches to establish premeditation, quote, "How much blood can a 6-year-old lose?" At the sentencing hearing for convicted killer mom, Julissa Thaler, Judge Jay Quam heard victim impact statements.
Eli will forever be missed by so many people that loved him.
Including from Nikita Kronberg, a relative who fostered 6-year-old Eli Hart, providing him a loving home, before the courts returned Ellie to the custody of Thaler, his mother, who a jury convicted of first-degree murder for killing Eli in her car with a shotgun.
To this day, I blame myself for not saving Eli. Should I have kept in contact with this monster after Eli was returned for the home trial?
It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault at all. So the sooner you can let go of that, the sooner you can appreciate all the time that you did have.
Then Ellie's dad, Torrey Hart, stood next to his wife, Josephine Josephson, who read their joint statement.
You could see the love and bond they shared every second they were together. They had this extra spark between them that everyone could see. Now we only have memories. And they're not enough.
When given the chance to speak, Thaler did not apologize. Instead, she claimed she's innocent and cussed out the judge and everyone in the courtroom.
You're garbage.
even Thaler's attorney.
It doesn't surprise me, is all I can say.
Eli's family is now turning the attention to a playground they're raising money to build at Surfside Beach and Mound in Eli's name.
In honor of all children that should have a happy childhood.
As Thaler served her life sentence, Eli Hart's family sued Dakota County Social Services for putting Eli in Thaler's hands, despite countless red flags. Eli Hart's family settled the lawsuit with Dakota County for $2.25 million. This Karen killed her 3 children.
A Phoenix woman will spend the rest of her life in prison for killing her 3 children.
Wearing an orange jumpsuit and face mask, Rachel Henry sat quietly as a judge officially accepted her plea agreement.
Is there anything you wish to say? No, Judge. Oh, okay.
In January 2020, the bodies of Rachel Henry's 3 children, all under the age of 4, were found in the living room of their home near South 24th Street and Southern Avenue. Court documents later showed Henry sang to them as she smothered them and placed them on the couch as if they were napping. The state said the emotional toll has impacted more than just family.
A lot of the fire personnel thought, because there was a miscommunication, they thought it was a drowning call. They thought they were responding out to a scene to try to save children. Some of the personnel, the first responders, are still in therapy and have been affected by what happened, even though this was 5 years ago.
Henry initially pled not guilty, making her case eligible for the death penalty. But last December, she accepted a plea deal, which instead meant life behind bars.
She had a duty to protect her children from anyone or anything who would try to harm them. But unfortunately, in this case, she was that thing. She is going to have to think about this and the effect that it's had for the rest of her life, and I hope she does.
The court also finds that each victim deserves to be recognized as an individual victim, and consecutive counts are therefore warranted to consider the impact, obviously, on each victim from Ms. Henry's actions.
Hi, pretty girl.
We believe the sentence in this case is appropriate. We can never bring back the lives of these 3 children.
The big question, though, why? Her team saying there were a variety of factors that may have led to the tragedy, including postpartum depression and an alcohol-related disorder.
We've investigated this case. It is still kind of a mystery in the sense that we may never know exactly what was going on that day with Rachel, and Rachel can't explain it or remember it herself in any articulable way that can make sense.
Rachel showed no emotion throughout the hearing, only embracing her legal team before leaving the room in silence.
She will be punished for the rest of her life. Not only will she be imprisoned and given no chance to get out, but she will live with the knowledge of the gravity of her offenses and must live with her without the loving presence of her children for the rest of her life.
A tense standoff as police pour into a hospital.
Drop the gun! Tell me what's going on!
A patient has been shot to death and the suspect is barricaded in the room.
I work at Advent Hospital, and there's an active shooter on the 11th floor.
It was 4 hours of tense negotiations at the medical facility in Daytona Beach.
I got a good angle right here. Drop the gun!
The standoff came to an end after cops fired off a round of beanbags. They were stunned when the shooter turned out to be a 76-year-old woman, Ellen Gillen. The dead patient was her 77-year-old husband, Jerry. Ellen Gillen told police she and her husband had made a suicide pact. But after she shot him in the head, she says she got cold feet when it came time to turn the gun on herself. Today, she sat at the defense table, wearing a hearing device, and heard from a nurse who was there that night.
When she pointed that gun at you, how did you feel?
Terrified. Terrified completely. I thought that I was gonna die.
Then in a soft voice, the defendant stepped forward with a riveting account of that night. Gillen said she and her husband decided murder-suicide was their only option to deal with his terminal disease.
At that time, I had no hope that he would survive.
She says he told her where to find the gun, and she returned to the hospital with the weapon and bullets.
He loaded the gun, but couldn't raise it off his chest. I would have to shoot him, and then myself. He took the safety off the gun and asked him if he was sure.
She says she was preparing to shoot herself when cops fired the beanbags into the room.
This has been the most frightening, debilitating, and humiliating thing that has ever happened to me.
She was sentenced 366 days in prison.
I love him. I miss him.
There's nothing I wouldn't do to bring him back.
This Karen is talking about the 5-year-old son she brutally murdered.
My heart and my mind are consumed with despair, pain, sadness, grief, unceasing anguish, and extreme remorse.
Joanne Cunningham pled guilty to slaying little A.J. Freund. His voice from beyond proved to be crucial evidence. A recording played in court in which he said he wanted to see her hurt.
But why do you want them to hurt me? Why? So I don't ever see you again.
There was also this heartbreaking moment.
I just don't want a family.
Cunningham grabbed national attention when she and AJ's father reported the child missing.
What is your message to those people who think you're withholding information?
I have no control over what people think. I just want my son to come home, okay?
A K9 dog found AJ's scent in the trunk of his parents' car. And when police discovered his body in a shallow grave, they charged both parents with murder. The day AJ died, prosecutors say he was forced to take a 20-minute cold shower and was beaten with the shower head, punishment for soiling himself.
Through my negligence, my weaknesses, and failures, created a host of problems for me.
His mom's words rang hollow as she read from a prepared statement. Prosecutors say her tears were all for herself. She was sentenced to 35 years with no chance of parole.
She is hereby sentenced to a determinate period in the custody of the Illinois Department of Corrections of 35 years.
The father, Andrew Freund, was sentenced to 30 years in prison, 11 years for aggravated battery of a child, 14 years for involuntary manslaughter, and 5 years for concealment of a homicidal death. The judge ordered all sentences to be served consecutively. Karen is accused of poisoning her husband to death, then writing a children's book about grief that she even dedicated to him.
He was 39. It completely took us all by shock.
Eric Richardson's estate is valued at $4 million, including his masonry business and the family home. The couple has 3 young sons. Prosecutors say Curry Richards poisoned Eric's Moscow mule with a lethal amount of fentanyl. His family believes it was not the first time she tried to kill him.
He believed that she had attempted to poison him on at least 1 and probably 2 prior occasions. This third time, when she obtained really a substantial amount of fentanyl, what would have been, I think the doctors have said, 5 times the lethal limit.
The family spokesman, Greg Skordas, says it was about just one thing: money.
She certainly had some financial reasons for him to die. She was in dire financial straits on a number of fronts, and she stood to gain enough through life insurance proceeds to sort of get her out of that hole.
Curry sued Eric's estate to obtain proceeds from his business and their family home, according to court filings. And at her court appearance, Curry Richards cried for most of the proceeding. The family says they have to deal with not only the loss of Eric, but also the fight for his millions.
There was no emotion she showed in court, no comments she's made that has dissuaded the family from feeling that she was responsible for his death.
Raw emotion in court as a Karen nurse, whose tragic error caused the death of a 75-year-old patient, bowed her head and wept in court during her sentencing.
This was a terrible, terrible mistake, and there have been consequences to the defendant.
Redonda Vaught was supposed to give her patient, Shailene Murphy, a mild sedative before a routine procedure. Instead, she administered a lethal dose of the paralyzing agent vecuronium, which comes with this clear warning label. She was found guilty of criminally negligent homicide in a case that ignited fury among nurses across America. She faced a possible 6 years behind bars, but in a stunning twist, the victim's family asked the judge to show mercy.
We forgive her. My mother-in-law would want her to be forgiven. And jail time is not an option to me.
I mean, it's sad all the way around for everybody. I mean, not only my family, but hers also.
The 38-year-old nurse from Nashville wept openly as she heard those words of compassion and forgiveness. Then she turned to address the family and apologized for the first time in the 4 years since the tragedy.
Saying I'm sorry doesn't seem like enough, but you deserve to hear that, and you deserve to know that I am very sorry for what happened.
Vaught bowed her head and wept with relief as she was sentenced to 3 years probation. Hundreds of nurses outside the court celebrated when they heard she would not be going to prison.
I'm sure there was relief, but she's certainly not doing cartwheels or anything like that.
This Karen was accused of masterminding a murder-for-hire plot, and authorities say the victim was to be her own husband.
I'll be acquitted because I did not do this.
Now you're watching a sting operation as it happens.
Are you Valerie Cincinnati? What's going on?
A wife is about to get some devastating news about her husband.
Might I have a seat for me, please? I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that Isaiah was found dead.
Are you kidding me?
She appears stunned, then breaks down. But was it all an act?
Oh my God.
Valerie Cincinnati wasn't surprised to hear her husband was dead because prosecutors say she orchestrated a chilling murder-for-hire plot to kill him.
I don't know what to do.
But what she didn't know was that her husband was very much alive, and here he is.
To me, it looks like a cold-blooded, cold-hearted person.
So who is Valerie Cincinnati? Her occupation may surprise you. She was a New York City cop. She and her husband had been married for 5 years. They had one son together.
I thought I was marrying somebody who protected and served for a living. Somebody who was, you know, a cop, an outstanding citizen. And instead, I got a crazed lunatic.
In 2019, they were going through a messy divorce, and authorities say Valerie Cincinnati schemed to do away with her husband. They say she put this man, her then boyfriend, John DeRuba, in charge of hiring the hitman for $7,000, converted into gold to make it untraceable.
She was gonna get away with this? I really believe she did, because she went through with it.
But the boyfriend went straight to the FBI. Why? Because he says Cincinnati wanted to add another victim to her hit list, his 13-year-old daughter. Cincinnati was said to be jealous of the price he gives her boyfriend, was buying his daughter, including Louis Vuitton bags, Ugg boots, and fake nails every week. Cops say she hated the teen with a passion and wanted her bumped off too. Working with the FBI, the two men in Valerie Cincinnati's life joined forces to bring her down. Together, they staged a realistic crime scene.
The FBI told me to sit in the car, and they took glass and they put it all over on the floor here, rolled down my window, put glass all over me inside of the car, and told me to hunch over into the passenger seat.
In a plea deal, the murder-for-hire charge was dropped. Cincinnati pled guilty to obstruction of justice. She was sentenced to 48 months in prison. Her ex-boyfriend was not charged.
I need someone to come here right now to my house.
This is a shocking 911 call from a mom who says that her 2-year-old son strangled his baby sister to death.
I don't know what to do. I'm not breathing.
What happened?
I'm trying to in the shower, and my kids were playing, and it came out in her like a Halloween lights there, and shirt was wrapped around her neck. I was gone for 2 seconds.
It seemed like a terrible family tragedy.
Come in now, Your Honor.
What happened next would shock everyone. Police say the mom is a monster and that she strangled the baby herself and tried to pin the murder on her toddler son.
Here on charges of homicide.
27-year-old Kristen DePasquale said she desperately tried to revive the child.
I'm trying to melt him now that she's not waking up. I don't know what to do. Oh my God.
She's breathing.
No! I love my baby!
Police say their suspicions were aroused because the shower floor and towels were dry, indicating she was not in the shower when 18-month-old Mia was strangled with Halloween holiday lights like these. And the medical examiner in Orlando says a toddler like little Michael does not have the physical strength to strangle his baby sister. San Francisco forensic pathologist Dr. Judy Malinek disagrees.
Yes, it's definitely possible for a 2-year-old to strangle an infant. 2-year-olds are mobile. They're quite strong. Anyone who's put a 2-year-old into clothing that they don't want to get into knows how strong they can be. And it is not unheard of for siblings to kill their siblings inadvertently.
The accused mom looked dazed when she appeared in court. She said only a single word.
Do you have any questions about your appearance here today? No? Good luck, ma'am. Good for you.
DePasquale was released on bond on May 23, 2018 after serving about 18 months in jail. Murder charges dropped and she was sentenced to 10 years of probation.
It was an accident. There was no doubt about it. It was an accident. It does not take that much pressure, nor does it take that much time for a child, a toddler, to get tangled up.
This Karen shocked the nation by live streaming a drunk driving car crash that killed her kid sister, was back in court over another wreck. In 2017, Obdulia Sanchez was driving her 14-year-old sister and a friend near Fresno, California. She was live streaming on social media while driving and continued filming after she crashed, even showing her sister's lifeless body. This is haunting footage of her sister and another friend in the back seat, having fun moments before the crash. Sanchez was convicted of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. She served just over 2 years and was recently released. Incredibly, a few months later, she was back in court after police say she ran a stop sign, then led them on a chase that ended with her crashing.
Once the vehicle was in the area of March Lane and I-5, the driver lost control of the vehicle and crashed.
Police say they found this loaded gun in her car.
She was just recently released from prison for that incident involving her sister a couple of years ago. She's currently on parole, and then this morning you have her evading police, engaging in a vehicle pursuit, which is extremely dangerous, and also at the conclusion of that pursuit, we locate a loaded firearm inside her vehicle.
Dressed in an orange jumpsuit and now sporting a tattoo of her sister's name on her neck, Sanchez showed no emotion.
That tells us that she didn't learn her lessons while she was in prison, and that she has no regard for the safety of other people on the roadway.
This Karen from Georgia was sentenced to 190 years in prison after she was found guilty of confining her adoptive daughter in a chicken coop and an outhouse, tying her up like a dog by the neck to a tree, and shocking her with remote-controlled electric dog collars. Diane Franklin was convicted in 2015 on 19 counts of first-degree cruelty to children, 8 counts of false imprisonment, and 1 count of aggravated assault. In her sentencing, Franklin reportedly said she was sharing wisdom for her adopted daughter, who was ungrateful. Franklin took the girl in as a foster child in 2006 and then adopted her in 2007 when she was 10 years old. The girl was removed from the house in 2012 by social workers. Superior Court Justice Bobby Peters reportedly told Franklin, "To me, you're just an evil woman." This Karen killed her husband by poisoning his water with eye drops. As Lana Clayton's husband lay dying at their mansion, she took his phone away so he couldn't call for help.
He lay there helpless Thursday and Friday, waking up periodically from his misery, thirsty, drinking more.
His loved ones denounced the woman at her sentencing.
He was supposed to be here now to help me figure out what path I should be on. But he's not here, and I'm struggling, and I'm not okay.
Ruthlessly, the defendant hand-delivered glass after glass of poison that ultimately killed him.
In confessing to the poisoning, Lana Clayton claims her husband, Stephen, a wealthy accountant, was abusive.
I did impulsively put the Visine in Stephen's drink, and I did it with the intent to make him sick and uncomfortable. I was upset about the abuse and just wanted him to leave me alone. I never thought it would kill him.
His goddaughter says that is a fabrication.
I'm begging you, Your Honor, don't believe her lies.
Eye drops can be deadly if swallowed.
You can't breathe after a while. Your heart shuts down and you eventually go into a coma.
The Visine plot was not the first time prosecutors say the wife tried to do away with her husband. In 2016, she shot him in the head with a crossbow similar to the one Tess fired. It was ruled an accident at the time, but prosecutors now believe it was a prelude for what was to come.
I did impulsively put the Visine in Stephen's drink.
She was sentenced to 25 years in prison.